Live slow, live it up, watching time go. Planning moves, staying solid to this cheat code. Get your money, make it big, fuck being broke. Get your money, make it big, fuck being broke. Live slow, live it up, watching time go. Making moves, staying solid to this cheat code. Get your money, make it big, fuck being broke. Get your money, make it big, fuck being broke. This how it is, the mission's Benjamins. And fuck the drama and the bullshit, we ain't little kids. My circle small, but my riders heart, they never quit. Get your money, keep it gangsta, solid, straight legit. Never switch like the real ones that die for this. It's fucked up, but this is truly how it is. I hope you're ready if you're picking this like full of sin. No turning back, I represent my vital to the end. Fuck the fakes and the snakes and everyone that hates. I'm not phased, I won't break, bitch, I'll never.
You are now watching M.O.D Entertainment.
What's good, G-Life? Now, as we continue all the brown neighborhoods, all the brown rag, brown title, homeboy barrios, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the area of Washington. You already know Washington, beautiful place, but also gang infested. You know what I mean? And you got multiple different gangs, Sureño gangs, Norteño gangs, Folk Nation, People Nation. You have everybody and their mother here. You know what I mean? It's one big melting pot of just varrios from all over the different places, you know, of the United States. Right here in Washington. You know what I mean? And one of them is one of these brown neighborhoods, a homeboy barrio. And not just Washington, but we have to make our way to the area that is known as Kent. Is where we're able to find the barrio BPLS, or barrio BPL, translating to barrio Brown Pride Locos or Brown Pride Locotes. You know what I mean? A real barrio that's been holding it down right here in Washington, in the Kent area, since the mid-90s when this neighborhood was established. And one of the more larger and recognizable barrios within this area, at least from what I was told. You get what I'm saying? Roughly more than 60 members from what I was told. And, you know, they do their thing, you know what I mean? Using the brown rag and the blue rag. So their colors, you know, just like, you know, like the brown pride Sureños and all these other neighborhoods, you know, similar to that, you know, that is their colors. They use the brown bandana and the blue bandana. Here's the thing, though. And not to get confused with the brown pride, like the brown pride Sureños, Raza, and all that. These are all different barrios, you know what I mean? They just start with brown pride, but they're all their own individual hoods. And I know I have covered a brown pride locals already here before on this channel, but that brown pride locals and this brown pride locals have nothing in common. You know, they're two different hoods, just with the same name. You know what I mean? Like I said, that tends to happen from time to time. You know, so these guys are their own barrio and well established, you know, throughout this whole entire area. One of the more recognizable ones, and been holding it down and continue to hold it down for the Brown Pride Locotes. Also, right here in Washington, one of the neighborhoods that you also have right here is the barrio BPM. Now, BPM translating to Brown Pride Mexicans. And here's the thing with this barrio. This barrio actually originated from the area of Los Angeles. You know what I mean? From the south side portion of Los Angeles, South Central, Huntington Park, from those areas. It actually was a tag banging crew. That's what it was. It was a tag banging crew over there who some of I think homie had told me brothers. I think it was two brothers. They had moved to the Washington area and started it over there. Began recruitment and bam, bam, bam. But they were tag bangers, actually, tag bangers. Tag banging crew, and then they had homies that moved to Washington and began recruiting over there and spread over there. So they became a barrio up there. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that they exist no longer in the South Central area. I could be wrong, but I don't think that they're there no more, like in the South Central area, you know, of Los Angeles. But that still doesn't change the fact that, you know, they have homies, you know, in Washington, that they're a neighborhood over there and all of that, you know, before I get people that are like, no, it's not a real gang, blah, 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 blah. They have homies over there holding it down, you know what I mean, and continue to hold it down for their set and putting theirs on the map, you know what I mean, because it is what it is. You can hate it or love it, but it is a real barrio right there, you know, the Brown Pride Mexicans, and continue to still hold it down for theirs.
Now, as we make our way to the area of Texas, yes, Texas is where we're able to find one of these brown pride neighborhoods. We have the barrio BPG. Barrio BPG translating to barrio Brown Pride Gangsters. Yes, this is a real neighborhood right here in Texas that are homeboys, despite what individuals want to say. I know they were saying that, no, they're their own thing, they're solo bolo. No, they're homeboys. You know what I mean? And I was told that they roughly started around the mid 90s and that they're up to 45 to 50 members. So not one of the more larger neighborhoods, but nonetheless a real neighborhood that are homeboys right here in Texas that hold it down and put it down for the suit, you know what I mean? But that's what's up with the Brown Pride gangsters right there.
And on the next barrio on the list, for this one, we actually have to make our way down to the area of the ATL, Atlanta. Stand up, you already know. Atlanta, beautiful place as well, but also gang infested, you know what I mean? Filled with a lot of neighborhoods, and one of them being a controversial homeboy neighborhood. Before people, get an uproar and everything like that, it is known as the Varrio Brown Side Locotes. Yes, it is a real barrio, Brown Side. I understand it's kind of rap group and blah, 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 blah. That is different from this gang, you know what I mean? Brown Side Locals is a real gang right here in Atlanta, you know what I mean? They're located on Plaza Fiesta and Bufford Highway is where you're able to find this barrio, been known to do their thing. And they are homeboys, despite what individuals want to say. Now, the reason for the controversial part is because they are homeboys. That's what they started as. They started as, homeboys, putting it down for the suits outside, the works, all of that. But over there in that area, in that side of town, an organization began, it formed that was known as La Gran Familia. And La Gran Familia is basically several different gangs coming together to form a super gang, but they're their own individual gangs, but they all unite under one umbrella. But it's its own, they're their own gangs. Now, how do the homeboys feel about that and all that? You know what I mean? That's something I don't get into politics, and I don't get into all kinds of stuff and all of that. You know what I mean? Those are just subjects I don't touch on. I don't know, how it's viewed or how it's seen or how is that possible. You know what I mean? I don't know how they, their politics get down and all that. Because you have a mixture of different gangs. You have them. There's also the Latin Kings, the same ones from Chicago. They have a branch right there in Atlanta. They also fall under that umbrella. The Malditos Trece fall under that umbrella as well. And a few other different gangs, that are not, Southerners, you know what I mean? Or Latin Kings. They're just their own off gangs, that unite under this umbrella. It kind of gets complicated, you know what I mean? Trying to understand the whole thing, but essentially they did start off as homeboys, and they are homeboys, because from what I was told is that some of their homies try to steer down that way to La Gran Familia, but some of their homies were like, nah, chales, we put it down for the Sud and all of that. You get what I mean? But it's the same neighborhood, but you just have some of their homies, so it is what it is, that's their barrio. But yes, and they have no connection to the Brown Side that's over here in Orange County, and this is not the last time that you'll be hearing the Brown Side barrio as a name. It's a common name, you know what I mean? But yeah, the Brown Side Locos is a real barrio in the ATL, one of the more larger one, and well respected and well known, and continue to still hold it down for theirs and putting theirs on the map. And this right here is Indianapolis. Yes, Indianapolis has gangs. You know what I mean? Like I said, neighborhoods could just exist anywhere. That's just how it is. You find them just like almost in every creek and crack. And yes, there is actually raza in this area. You know what I mean? Obviously, families come over here for work-related purposes, and you already know how it goes down. You know what I mean? Racism begins because there's a lot of whites over here that, would, mistreat, the raza, bully them. These guys banded together and, started their own groups over here on this side. You know what I mean? And one of them, yes, being a homeboy brown, neighborhood, which is known as the Barrio BPC or BPCYS. Barrio Brown Pride Cyclones. And no, they have no connection to the rest of the Cyclonic gangs. You know what I mean? This is also a typical name that you're going to be hearing here several times. But the Barrio Brown Pride Cyclones is a real neighborhood that's located right here in Indiana. Actually located on the West Lake apartment plexus. is where their barrios at, the heart of their hood, their dojo, their domain. That's where they get it on and cracking. And don't think that it's just lovely right here that they just, there's not much cracking, you know what I mean? That, that they only feuding with a few whites that are bullies and everything. Nah. You have Cribs, you have Bloods, you have, Texas gangs, you have New York, Chicago gangs, you have 18th Street, you have MS, you have several barrios, right here. So it gets conflict and chaotic and crazy, homie. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Southside Locals as well. You have so many different gangs, in this area. So don't think that it's all peaches and cream, Nah, homie, it does get chaotic. And one of the neighborhoods that holds it down right here is the Brown Price Cyclones. You know what I mean? They're roughly one of the more smaller neighborhoods. Have only been right here established since the later 90s, early 2000s when this neighborhood was established. At least from what I was told, is that they're roughly about 30 to 35, 40 members, roughly around that. No more than that, they told me. You know what I mean? And yeah, they've been right here holding it down and actually doing their thing. You know what I mean? Real individuals, and still put it down for theirs. You know what I mean? And their founding members, which were I think they were brothers, actually come from this area, from the Los Angeles area. They belong to no gang over here, nothing like that. You know what I mean? But they are from this area and, just started a neighborhood over there. That's just, the way it rolls. But the Brown Price Cyclones still continue to put theirs on the map. These guys ain't no suckers, and they still be representing for theirs. Now, for this barrio, we actually have to be right here in the area of Oregon, because it originated in Oregon, but has since then moved to different areas, different locations. So they're just not located in Oregon. They have a really, really big stronghold in Mexico. You know what I mean? In several different places in Mexico, from Tijuana to Oaxaca to different areas throughout Mexico. You know what I'm saying? But they originated, from over here, from, the United States, from the area of Oregon. And this one, not to be confused with the Brown Pride Mexicans, this one is actually known as the BMS. BMS translating to Barrio Brown Mexicans. So it's different from the Brown Pride Mexicans. These are just Brown Mexicans. And although they originated out of Oregon, they were never really that large in Oregon, at least from what I was told, as there were roughly about 25 to 30 members at the max. You know what I mean? But then, homies of theirs were getting busted, and since obviously they didn't have no papers, they got deported. You know what I mean? And when they got deported to different parts of Mexico, obviously, depending, where they were from or whatever, and then began recruitment, over there in Mexico, and it just grew and grew. And from what I was told, there are more than 100 members now, compared to when they originated out of just their 30 homies. You know what I mean? Has since then, grew spread like wildfire. And yes, they're still in Oregon right there. You know what I mean? They still have members that hold it down, just not as many. You know what I mean? Homie told me that there's roughly like about 10 or 15 members, that are, still functioning right there. But, in Mexico, there's way more, and it's the same neighborhood right there. It's the same barrio. So in a sense, as a whole, it's a lot more larger. But yes, they originated from over here, and it is a real barrio and continues to still represent for theirs and putting theirs on the map. And for the Brown Mexicans, the BMS right there.
Thank you for watching M.O.D Entertainment.